Welcome back, League fans, to our final game of the evening. This one features two teams tied in lockstep, with Clutch Gaming Academy taking on TSM. And before today, Clutch Gaming were looking pretty dismal, but managed to come out of our doubleheader with 2 wins. Moxie, what happened?
I don't know. I think some of the credit has to go to Solo, another player who's stepping in for their Academy top laner, who was Max Trobo, and he played both games yesterday. He took over lane against No in their win against FlyQuest Academy, and then took over the game against 100 Thieves, finishing 7-0 on Aatrox, only to vanish into the ether as once again Max Trobo takes his spot on the Rift today. But I also want to put a spotlight on Vulcan, who's been performing very well all split long. I don't think he'll ever replace Hakuho, who is a beast on the main roster, but this is a support that you could expect to move up onto an LCS roster at some point in the future if he continues to do well throughout the split.
And they face off today against TSM Academy, who I've decided to call the team of misfit toys. They've drafted some talented players to their roster, but they can never get all the pieces to work, especially at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, TSM Academy never came together last split, and then they took away some of their best talent, and with Brandini, going over to 100 Thieves and Greg moving up to the LCS roster. So, as you said, they do have a lot of talented players on the roster, but the team's success will entirely ride on whether that unit can find cohesion.
Well, we'll see what they can do in just a few minutes, but first let's get into the starting lineups. On the blue side, it's Clutch Gaming Academy. Back in his top lane is Max Trobo. In the jungle, Moon, mid, Sun, bot, Piglet, support Vulcan, and their coach, McScrag.
Irish twist on the red side. In the final game of the day, it's TSM Academy. Pie Cake Lord, PCL on the top side, Mike Young in the jungle, Ablaze Olive in the mid lane, with Mr. Raz and Shady down there in the bot lane, coached by Hermes.
All right, well, we kind of broke the streak, but Funnel has won every game today, Mark Zimmerman. Will Funnel win our next game?
I don't know, but I would not mind seeing more of it. I think Moon's a guy you wouldn't mind seeing a Funnel on. Mike Young had his come up on an aggressive champions like Nidalee and his mechanics and all that stuff, so maybe he's a good Funnel candidate. I don't know.
I guess we'll find out.
Or you put Mr. Raleigh in the jungle. He's TSM's best player for the last year or so in the Academy scene, so put him on Jungle Kaisa. I mean, it'll work.
Kaisa, pretty good champion, as it turns out. He has played a number of times in its regular position in bot lane, but a Swain ban here for CG. There's Zoe for TSM and Morgana.
Have to see if TSM sticks to those red side bans we've been seeing. Yes, the Nocturne comes through next, which is a champion that was just winning on its own, like 80% win rate in Korea, so it's one of those OPs you got to ban out.
Yeah, pretty strong champion, so we'll kind of see what falls through for the rest of this one. I know that I believe one team has lost a ban. I don't know which one from memory, but somewhere along there. We're not sure why, but one of the teams has lost a ban. So we'll have to find out which one. It's not Clutch, at least not for now, as Talia is banned away.
Have banned the Talia. We've seen that getting banned out pretty frequently. It's been making a little bit of a resurgence. I mean, it's always been in the meta in the jungle, but has been showing up in mid lane a little bit, as well as in bot lane. We've seen some nasty combos with anything that can lock someone down in place. You take Electrocute Talia, you get the free W from the lane mates CCing them, and then you get the push back onto the E. Actually leads to some gnarly combos.
Yeah, it was, I think, a big change for a lot of Talia players, because the AoE was such a big deal in her kit, but I think still players adjusting to that. Now you can get her out in other places other than the jungle, which of course did get touched in recent patches. So it was TSM that have lost their ban, but we won't speculate on why for now, as Rakan is locked in, leaving Aurelia open and taken by TSM Academy.
Very quick snap pickup there with the Sejuani. Ayo, warning, seen Echo Fox do a funnel strat with that.
Exactly. You may think that this is just all well and good with the Mike Young, Sejuani jungle, and Aurelia mid, but certainly have seen Sejuani in funnels before. Not getting funnel 2, by the way. Do not do that one.
I'm pretty sure it's just Sejuani jungle. Mike Young played a ton of it last split. It makes a lot of sense. Also blazed Olive on the Aurelia.
I mean, makes sense. Maybe we'll funnel to Olive, maybe not. But certainly picks that TSM should be comfortable with, as the counter pick there for the Sejuani. Recent changes in the patch have, I think, mostly been buffs, so certainly been picking up a lot more steam.
Yep, definitely showing back up on 812. One of the things being the E being able to get procced continuously on jungle camps, very big buff. And with that Trundle pick, probably not a funnel on the side of Clutch Gaming, and so we're starting to look like probably no funnel in Game 5 either, Pastry.
Well, funnel can't lose if it's not picked at all, so
that's true.
We'll see how it works out. Aatrox there for Max Trobo, see if he can repeat Solo's performance yesterday on the champion in their second game. And hey, Kaisa's still up. Kaisa will be taken.
Yeah, Mr. Raleigh is taking one of the best late game champions in the current meta, and he has been a bit of a late game force for TSM Academy. When they fall behind, they kind of get snowballed on. There's not much he can do. But if it's an even game, and we've seen even some of these protect the Mr. Raleigh strategies from last split, they would usually do pretty well in those games. He had a pretty nasty Kog'Maw back then.
Yep, certainly did. As Zai going to get banned here away from Piglet, so TSM attacking the bot lane now, trying to give Raleigh the kind of smoothest possible ride in the early game for Kai'Sa, which can be awfully bumpy at times.
Yeah, we kind of saw that last game coming out on the losing side of a lot of trades and then eventually falling to all-ins. It is surprising, though, as Piglet had been struggling a little bit to be the main carry force for this roster. You know, we talk about they found some wins yesterday, but a lot of it was Solo stepping up and doing a really good job, and that's kind of what we hope to see when an LCS player makes an appearance in Academy, is that they crush kids. Sneaky's been doing that a little bit more with the resources that's been going into him. Jensen was doing it after a little bit of a rough first week. Acadian as well has been doing great, so you would hope to see the same thing out of Solo, which he did, but Piglet not quite having the same effect. Yep,
and there's a Fiora ban actually for CG, so kind of taking Pie Cake Lord's champions away, and Rise also banned away from Sun. So very specific target bans here. We'll see if Clutch have one more in store.
Yeah, we had seen some Fiora into Aatrox, I believe, in the LCS last weekend. It might have been Lorlo or someone pulled it out, and it looked pretty good. Or maybe it was Licorice, I forget. Either way.
Oh, Licorice did play Fiora recently. I don't know if it was into Aatrox.
I think it was into Aatrox. I think
you might be right.
Either way, it was a good pick, so no surprise to try and get that one.
I'm remembering now. Yeah, he smashed.
He was 5-0,
and then yeah, unlucky. Renekton the other van there for Clutch, which leaves Braum up as the support there for Shady. Pairs nicely with the Kai'Sa. Adds the Sejuani CC. Blood. It's good. Really good champion.
You get bored describing how it all worked.
I feel like at this point, people
CC with hyper scaling. What a combo.
And there's Ezreal for Piglet. Old Faithful.
Old Faithful.
Back for the bot.
Old Reliable. Remember when he sniped Uzi underneath the turret with Ezreal? I remember that.
I remember. Perpetron remembers too. We'll see what the last pick is here for Clutch Gaming Academy. And honestly, for Piglet, a player that has shown a lot of struggles, I think this is the kind of thing that you should just do. Just pick a nice, reliable champion, give him opportunities and agency to make his own plays, and hope he doesn't go too far with this.
I don't know. This comp for Clutch just is not popping out to me.
Pretty medium.
It's pretty like bog standard. Lulu in the mid lane is not much to watch. Toronto jungle, not super interesting. Aatrox can do some cool stuff, I'll give him that, and Ezreal as well. But with Rakan Ezreal, there's not a much inherent synergy. You're against the Braum Kai'Sa. I see that being a kind of hard lane to really run over. The Jax pick coming in, though, will make the top side.
This is the spicy one.
Pretty interesting.
Everyone says Aatrox is super good. He gets Rage Blade, he gets a Hydra, and he just flies on you and auto-attacks you to death. All right, let's pick the champion that can dodge the auto attack.
Do this thing, spin the pizza plate over your head, whatever it is. The baton. He'd be great in marching band.
He would. Unfortunately, he's in top lane 1v1.
He's
versus the Darkin. We've been through this already today.
Yeah, but that's an interesting pick, one that I think will work pretty well for the Jax. Maybe a little bit annoying early on with the range harass that E can do, because a lot of people do take that level 1, and Jax won't have that working for him, but at 6, very difficult for the Aatrox against the stats that he'll be getting, as well as the ability to dodge out on the auto attacks will favor the Jax.
Certainly nice to see comfort on both sides, though, I think, for TSM Academy. Pie Cake Lord kind of back to carry business here with the Jax in the top side. Mike Young on Sejuani, which he has a ton of games on from last split. So nice to see her back in the metagame. And again, Bjergsen's been spamming the Aurelia in mid lane. See if a Blaze Olive can live up as kind of the understudy there of TSM and do some work against the Lulu. Probably not.
It's one of the things with TSM Academy where we just haven't heard much about their Academy players being like, oh yeah, and then I walked over to Sven or Bjergsen and asked them how to do this. Quite like we just heard Palafox doing, and he's a guy who has kind of, I don't want to say exploded onto the scene like he completely just took over Academy, but has someone had a very steady career trajectory upwards, has constantly been doing better. Not at all the case for any of the TSM Academy players, where feels like they've kind of stalled out after a lot of them having a ton of hype at the start of Spring Split, and you don't even hear the org and players talking about that kind of close working relationship that some of these other orgs have, like Team Liquid Academy, C9 Academy, FlyQuest Academy, and Optic Academy.
Yep, Fox as well, certainly.
Oh yeah, that's another big one.
A lot of freedom in their rosters. They believe in the fluidity of Academy and LCS.
And not to plug my own show too much, but on Hotline League, we were talking about it and how one of the problems, and this was the FlyQuest coach talking about this as well, is that there's a strange stigma. Well, not strange, an understandable stigma that exists between swapping between Academy and the LCS squads, where you say you're getting benched and you're playing down, and all these negative terms align with the idea of what's really a substitution. And it's one of those things where even Meteos was talking about, like, you're training the guy to take your spot or whatever. But you know, a lot of people say iron sharpens iron and competition is king and all these other things that say, like, yeah, well, the org's job is to produce the best talent that they can possibly produce, and making it competitive and having two teams working together who aren't even really separate teams. You're under the same organization. It's just that because the stigma exists where Academy is a separate thing and it's worse than LCS, that there is maybe some less synergizing between rosters across all organizations.
Well, that is your one plug for the day. Glad you got it.
That's it. That's all I got.
You got one every show.
I didn't know that.
Every Academy.
I think I have some I need to cash in from earlier.
I'll give you. No. That's not how that works.
Can't get a rebate.
No. It's like a coupon. It expires eventually.
Okay, okay. That's true.
Well, checking some of these lanes right now. Sun looking pretty good in the 1v1. Lulu, pretty good into melee champions. Aurelia still qualifying. So Sun getting the lane pushed in, trying to harass Olive, but picks up most of the CS. He'll be good to go. Thankfully with Aurelia, it's pretty easy. Looks for a stun, lands, it gets the reset. W through, ignite down, Blaze Olive with the all-in, but no flash Q gonna follow. Was on cooldown, didn't get the last reset.
Still alleviated a lot of pressure, got the flash out of Sun, gets the laning kind of back in his favor and forces this recall out. Actually, Sun cancels.
Sneaky boy, hiding around the side. Now gonna, oh, he's trying to freeze it. That is a jerk move.
It's also a bit of a risky move, as Blaze Olive will be extended in the lane, but Sun is still low HP, so potential flash gank can come in. They do have very little outplay on the side of Sun right now.
Yeah, and Moon not coming to the lane, so Sun a little greedy, but looks like he won't be punished. Olive will be forced to stay, but not too bad there for Aurelia. Gonna miss a couple CS there, but gonna go back with a decent CS lead, and I think just leave Sun B right now. Which
definitely looks like that's the plan right now. Gonna have to see what he purchases. This probably does not quite have enough gold to buy the first of his Triforce components. Ends up grabbing, yep, just the long sword and the ruby crystal.
Almost there. Still a fade to come. As top lane, Mike Young gonna pay a visit to Max Strober. It's very temporary though.
Yeah, this is one of those more I'm covering you recalls. Make sure you're in a position, as they did see Trundle and he did complete the recall, but it's gonna not really be a potential dive at that point. So Mike Young gets his recall off, and Max Strobo is not gonna really threaten as Trundle runs around instead.
Yep, Moon's checking for some camps. Gonna see nothing here. Oh, actually Raptors back up. Never mind. Perfect timing there for Moon. Takes the, oh! Gets the big one. Level 4. Mike Young's like, hey, get out of there. Moon's like, okay.
Nice. Not like, okay, he's like, fight me.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
This is my precinct.
I want these chickens.
Get out of there. All right, well, looks like they'll just kind of be off at a stalemate. Moon finds a ward, smacks that one down. Sung with, again, good lane priority here with the Lulu. Moon, I think, will be playing a bit more up. Mike Young's just been full clearing the jungle on set 20, and bot side, pick up Vulcan playing reasonably far forward right now. CS is even, but things could get frisky at any moment in the bot lane.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Like we were saying, it is a difficult lane to all in for Clutch Gaming. Vulcan can hop in, but then a Braum can easily just drop his shield down. It's much more difficult.
Oh, great poly there, but Mike Young gonna flash forward for the Q. Now the Sun's gonna land in, and that's an easy first blood. It's Mike Young that takes the tax.
And a Blaze Olive converting that advantage he created for himself in the 1v1 against Sun earlier, and they don't use any, oh, I guess Mike Young had to flash, excuse me. So they do use one resource, but they can easily go on him again as they get closer to 6s. Sun will not be able to defend himself. That's just a really nice start there. And they don't want to give him a chance to start Wing away and potentially kite that out with a Glitter Lance as well. So Mike Young, very nice use of the flash to just instantly convert that Q forward.
Yep, kind of shuts off Sun's cleanse as well. Didn't really have a good chance to use it. So all in all, really nice setup there from TSM to grab themselves first blood and give both the Sedge and the Aurelia some gold. TP back here for Piglet. You can see that pressure starting to mount a little more. Stun does hit onto Vulcan. So Piglet's just going to be here and clean these out. Looks like he is settling in for a big, long night of farming, Monksy. going back with a tier and a call.
Yeah, that was not the start you want out of your mid laner. Has got his flash force, died, down 10 CS now. Your mid lane, obviously behind already, and your top side not guaranteed to become a split push threat. So once again, feels like the burden is getting heavier on Piglet's back.
Well, Piglet can get done once he kind of finishes up and collects his gold, steals money from people with kleptomancy and such. Max Trobo also having a decent time. Looks like right now he's feeling pretty good in the matchup, but Jack scales awfully well with items, although to be fair, so does Aatrox. So it'll be fun to see these two go at it as the lane extends further and further. Max Trobo, though, is pushing with impunity. His Sun now with a blue buff, and his ulti maybe going to feel a bit safer, but Olive's trying to deny this cannon. Will do so successfully. Nope. Nice picks there from Sun to get the snipe with the good lance.
Able to find that one. You know, it's funny, we're talking about conversations potentially between substitute Academy players and LCS players. Bjergsen played the Lulu into Aurelia and did not have a good time. Maybe that's why Blaze Olive was very happy to take this matchup.
Maybe. Have to see. I mean, I kind of get it in theory, like, Lulu's pretty safe. You can just kind of chill out and push her in, hopefully. But I feel like Aurelia's problem is as soon as she gets a foothold in the lane, she just takes over. And that's kind of what a Blaze Olive is trying to do here. Yeah,
I mean, as soon he got harassed out really early on due to that range advantage, but as soon as he hits 3, he goes all in, almost gets the kill, forces the flash, and then since then he hasn't really been under any pressure. And Lulu is a little susceptible to Aurelia. You talk about those shields that she can cut through when she gets her passive stacks up. Kind of negates some of Lulu's defensive abilities.
I mean, also checking around, he's going to find that pink ward and slap it down. He's got a Tiamat actually, so looking to really power through this jungle and try and get ahead that way of the Sejuani. But Mike Young, early gold, is farming his camps nicely. Also going to take blue buff number 2. Early doesn't really need it. It's not bad to have, but Olive will be fine with this turn of events.
Yeah, and they were getting pressured a little bit, so no surprise to see Mike Young say, you know what, I'd rather me have it
than they have it.
Exactly, so he just smites that one away, and now a bit of a staring contest in the river.
Who's going to win?
Or Khan's going to make this a 4 eyeballs on 2 staring contest.
That's not very fair, as Mike Young does cue himself over the wall. Wards there from Clutch again, trying to spot the jungler. There's a dragon to potentially take. But it looks like team's getting pretty active here. There's a lot of movement from the bot lane and the junglers. Pyke Lord even roaming down to mid actually, so I think Clutch recognizing that they want to try something, but no real need to pull the trigger just yet, it feels like.
Yeah, I think it's the kind of thing where I think TSM are in a great spot right now. And we talked about the Kai'Sa scaling all day, and now they have a lead, so they don't feel too much pressure to force things. And Clutch Gaming, while they probably want to, being on the back foot a little bit already makes it difficult to find the ideal engage. Vulcan will probably be that guy for them. He has by far the best engage tools, so we'll have to see. As well as the fact that, like we were saying, he's been one of their better performers thus far, so not a bad person to kind of put that on.
Yeah, here comes Moon, but spotted by a ward. Maybe again just kind of covering, but Blaze Olive probably looking to get a cancel. Moon's like, yep, he knows I'm here. We're now going to move back to the other brush and go there instead. Mike Young spotted by a ward. Does have his ulti, but as we know, and Clutch know too now. There's no need for them to get needlessly aggressive, so I'll just relax. And Moon will look to try and take this Rift Herald now that he knows Mike Young is basic.
But he is on top of a ward. It's not bad time though. Like you said, Mike Young recalling, but also Brandini was recalling up on the top side. So, or not, excuse me, not Brandini. Pyke Lord was recalling. So, nice timing to get this Rift Herald though. Blaze Olive is want to say something about that.
Max Trobo's Aatrox lessons paying off so far, but a collapse is coming. Vanguard's Edge barely tags Trobo, and now Moon's trying to finish off the Rift Herald, but I don't know if this is the best idea. Somebody smites it, but the fight's still breaking out instead. Moon who flashes in, he picks up the Herald, he knows he needs it, but he dies to Pyke Lord.
That was a interesting series of events there where Blaze Olive did a great job zoning out 2 members of Clutch Gaming Academy, both with his ultimate and then getting the double stun and Q stacks on them. And while they were looking at the Aurelia kind of dashing around them, in the meantime, the Blaze Olive starting to get a little low.
No ignite there from Sun, so can't get much more aggressive and try and confirm a kill. Still not bad as well. Watch this one again. This is kind of a comedy of errors.
Yeah, so Blaze Olive is a little bit ahead of the rest of his team. He's just trying to stop the Rift Herald from going down to maybe let his smite get in range. Not the case as Moon secures this. But then the nice double stun allows him to zone those two out, while on the flip side, Moon was getting focused down by the enemies and had to flash forward to get that Rift Turtle. Otherwise, he was going to go down too quickly.
Well, at least he gets a Herald, so we'll see if he can at least get a turret for his life after the scuffle around the objective. Olive, though, still continuing to move forward well. 2 parts of the Trinity Force already done, so not going to be too far away from completing the item. And Mikeyoung is continuing to kind of hang out down here and I think just, again, cover for his lane mates. Pikekick, I think, feeling a bit better despite a CS deficit, especially after getting a kill. Mikeyoung now focusing on the bot side, making sure Raleigh is okay, and even going to start up this Drake, try and give TSM their first objective.
It's been a good kind of control game for Mikeyoung, where because of that small advantage of Blaze Olive got for himself in the mid lane, it became a very obvious focal point for them to try and attack again, which they do successfully. And since then, it's just kind of been working around that. A nice punish once again, though, by Moon this time, dropping the Rift Turtle up in the top side to get the turret for his Aatrox and the solo gold onto him, which is very important, I think, because it doesn't feel like you're in a great position to win 5v5, so get your split pusher as far ahead as possible. The Cloud Drake, while nice, is not enough of a reward. They might be able to convert that into a bot lane turret, though.
Second charge here. Top tier 2 still under fire. He's going to take some damage. They're actually going to maybe try and dive, but think better of it for now.
Well, they did get the ultimate out of him, so they might be able to re-dive once their cooldowns come back up. Pikekick has to be really careful.
Moon's got his ult as well. There's the Dark Flight looking for it. Moon just pressed the ult button. The dodge is coming up. Pikekick looking for a 2v1 outplay. Flashes autos. He's able to get it. He is going to dive, but well played to get a trade kill.
Felt like a little bit of a mistake there, obviously, on the side of Clutch Gaming. Max Strobo jumping behind, while an interesting idea to cut him off. If the Jax wanted to run, he always could have run. He had his flash up, he had his leap strike up. So jumping behind him was probably not the right play. You should just jump directly on top of him and get that CC combo started. The slower approach to the dive gave Pikekick enough time to trade out on the Moon.
And also, bottom outer turret has gone in TSM's favor thanks to Mikeyoung's pressure. That also means Raleigh has just picked up his Ginsu relatively unscathed, as we'll watch this dive again.
So watch Max Strobo's first Q here. I like the initial thing to do. They run forward, they drop the pillar, scare him into ulting, and then back off. Great first start to this, and you want to stay around here because you've already kind of committed to the play, as you haven't recalled Moon a while ago to go defend the bot dive. But then here, maybe he might have just missed the Q because it did have Pikekick backing up for a second. Either way, once the Q misses, that's pretty easy for them to no longer have any hard CC, so Pikekick just starts hitting the Trundle until he's able to get the kill.
Yep, does manage to pick it up. Pikekick would eventually flash, but it was for the kill. Does feel like Trobo was trying to predict that flash, but at that point, is that you just being too cute? You even want to dive that far if he flashes back? Maybe too many questions to answer right now, but it was a trade in the end, so split pushers still gaining gold on both sides. It does feel like the Aatrox is still ahead right now, but not sure how much longer that will last. Pikekick Lord on the way to his Trinity Force, and I believe a Blaze Olive has already finished his.
That's the thing that we're going to need to track, is if the Aatrox can get enough pressure in the lane to start drawing multiple members out of necessity, or if Jax can always hold onto the turret. Because if your 4-man is winning as the split pusher, you don't need to win your 1v1. You can kind of just continue to absorb the other team's split pusher. So as much as we love to see Jax ahead and pushing, you don't love thinking about a Jax losing gracefully. If he can lose this matchup gracefully and let the Kai'Sa Aurelia carry the game, that is a totally viable strategy to go for.
I've utilized it many times in my game.
As a Jax player?
No, as a general League of Legends player. Losing gracefully is one of my specialties. Turns out also losing ungracefully is weirdly also a specialty. It's kind of a time of day.
I'm a bit of an expert in losing, you could say. I can lose in a variety of ways.
A losing connoisseur, that is true. Still, again, kind of the pace of the game is holding pretty slow. Clutch actually up in gold, at least for now, but it's only a few hundred, so I think both these teams kind of feeling each other out. TSM Academy, similarly to their main team, felt pretty slow in spring. I think they've continued a lot of that trend here in summer. So, like you said, with the Kai'Sa, no need for them to do anything unless they need to try and play catch-up, and I think Clutch are just knowing where the power points here for TSM are trying to do something like this. Great ult though from Mikeyoung with the cleanse ult. He's going to get Sun out to safety. Vulcan was the next target, but he just zips back to the Lulu.
Not able to get the flash, though, so all things considered, not too bad for Sun. I mean, they did layer their CCs. They started the Aurelia stun with the Sejuani stun, but either way, Cleanse offers enough of cool tenacity after you initially used it, that he probably would have gotten out there either way because Vulcan was hovering around mid lane.
Sun again continues to hang back. Luden's Echo there for Lulu means that Sun can continue to play wave clear and chill, at least for a little while longer. I think Olive knows that either he needs to call Mike back once the ultimate's ready and the cleanser's still off, or maybe look to move around the map and roam somewhere else, because he is strong. Jack's also finishing that Trinity Force. The TSM solo lane is powering up as the game goes on.
Yeah, everyone kind of hitting their one-item power spikes. Lou gets the Luden's Echo and suddenly has a much easier time wave clearing. You have the Tiamat for the Aatrox, so he has an easier time pushing as well and can kind of keep the Jax pinned down. On the flip side, double Triforce is complete in the Ginsus. Don't need to say much about those, as we've seen how strong those items can be power spiking.
And last but not least, Piglet with an Iceborne Gauntlet. So, you know, quite a lot of Gauntlet Ezreal today. Ooh, Moon looking for a gank, forcing the flash of the Aurelia. Killer is pretty good.
Pretty good against melee champions. Mike Young was behind the Aurelia, but a little bit too far for a Blazolve to feel safe, so he goes for the flash out. Doesn't want to get chunked out and lose pressure around mid lane, which is good.
All right, a duel. Oh, it's off.
Psych!
That was a very unexciting duel.
Piglet was rotating the mid lane, so good for a Blazolve to not take too much damage and maybe still need to flash out either way.
Yeah. Again, wave clear, wave clear. Infernal Drake up in 30 seconds, should incite some action. TSM already with that first Drake. It was a Cloud Smite from Moon, gets the crab.
Piglet gets his transform.
Oh no, Vulcan gonna get out of there. Moon gonna get stunned up, but he's not too bad on the Trundle. Vulcan looking for the play, but doesn't quite find it. Point blank ult there, but he zips out just in time. Piglet has already taken down a Blaze Olive, but still TSM are looking for their first kill. The Wild Growth in onto Moon is now Max Trobo looking to dive in and slay them all. Piglet goes in for the flash kill, but doesn't quite find Pie Cake Lord. Moon flashing in, needs to pillar back off. Cooldown could be a juicy one as Vulcan dives back in again. Piglet can't quite find the snipe, but Shady finally goes down. Trundle able to get the next kill.
And Piglet getting a little greedy with a multi-kill in his eyes, tries to snipe out Pie Cake Lord. Can't quite find it, but Max Trobo has the follow-up to make sure they get the kill onto the Braum. A 2-for-0, as you saw just how much CC Sun brings. Maybe a mistake by a Blazolve to go for the Ninja Tabbies instead of the Merc Treads, because he was polymorphed for a long time there. Felt like he couldn't get out, and then just kind of collapsed on and killed. And once the Aurelia was dead, even though the Kai'Sa was able to put out a lot of damage, the front line was just too big for the side of Clutch Gaming.
Yep, so this looks again like Moon maybe too far forward for this crab, but Mike Young's going to see that and try and start it off.
This is the tankiest member of the team, though, that you're trying to engage on. And so you see the charm, the polymorph gets wailed down. He's almost dead, tries to dash back in, but already gets popped in between his ultimate and all the Lulu shields and stuff that can come in. Moon is still at half HP, so they never really dropped him that far. Vulcan was actually the closest to dying. And then they can continue to chase through all the flashes forced. Vulcan just barely getting the knockup, which guarantees the kill. And Piglet, always an eye for blood, almost found one more.
Yeah, he was like insta-flashing for that Q as soon as he saw someone low. But still clutch, they get the kills, and they get the Infernal Drake as well. Kind of even that back up, and certainly help this team that's going to look to be fighting a lot here in the mid-game. Mid-turret also taking some damage, but not enough to fell it just yet.
Very close game, all things considered. I mean, yeah, Kai'Sa's going to outscale, but the rest of the team comps are relatively close.
Mike Young looking for an ult, doesn't quite have it back just yet. Moon a little too far, actually going to go for it. Vulcan again with a good charm as he dashes into the front side. Mike Young low, but he pops the stopwatch. Moon almost dead. Pie Cake Lord, he wants it, but he goes too far forward. Piglet finally gets the kill that he wanted last fight. And Clutch again going to keep going. Roller's no flash. Slow is not going to quite hit, but Vulcan again finds Shady with a mass knockup. There's Roller's going to get dove on as Olive is going to try and get back in and get it. Sun, Flash E does get it. Olive dead as well under the turret. And Clutch Gaming destroying these team fights.
Yeah, very surprising. I mean, TSM Academy's comp looked like it should be spiking around that 18-20 minute mark, yet they lost 2 fights decisively. Even that one starting in their favor, 4v5. But once the Aatrox showed up, was able to provide another frontline member to finish that dive off. And with that, the gold lead explodes up to about 5,500 gold.
Yep.
Can't do math.
That's about that. I can't do it either. As Mike Young, again, he's almost got his ult. He's ready. He's hoping to kill the squishy support. And TSM, they go all in once more.
Yeah, I wonder if he has it because this replay might have been a little bugged. Either way, he doesn't throw it at the beginning, throws it after. And once again, they're on to Moon. They almost get the kill. They want to finish him off, but no one else is on the same side. Blazolve doesn't Q to finish him off. Mr. Raleigh doesn't ult to finish him off, and it's only Pie Cake Lord going in. They don't find a kill. Piecake Lord drops, and now Max Strobo has arrived, trying to mirror the performance of Solo yesterday. Has a huge team fight here, able to set up the next 3 kills. And Mike Young, first one in, last one out alive.
Unfortunately, the rest of TSM.
No one else made it out alive.
So
First and last out
lucky.
alive.
All right, well, Baron is up. Gonna get pink watered there by Clutch as they try and take control of this side of the map. And it's getting scary. I mean, Clutch know now that, okay,
no turret.
We're ahead. We can just get aggressive here. Minions already took that one, so Shady again spotted by Vulcan, but he wants more. Gets Mike Young with the charm he wants. Olive, Mike Young just getting torn to shreds as Piglet takes him down and picks up Olive for dessert.
That's one of the advantages of taking down a lot of turrets early on in the game, is it gives you more room to work with when you get ahead. They find him around the red buff and second turret, but it's already dead, so they can get those kills and turn on to Baron.
They're going to lose a couple turrets here. Mid turret is going to go to Brawlers, so the Sun's running interference right now. Looks like Piecake Lord will get bottom turret in tier 2, as Sun actually does defend the mid outer from Brawlers, but Clutch, they'll take this trade. 1 turret for Baron, yes please.
Yeah, definitely worth the risk. You know, let that Jax get his little 400 gold, you get plenty back from the Baron, and now you have a huge advantage in the siege that's going to be coming up in the next minute.
And again, with the Ezreal, plenty protection from the Lulu. Trundle with solo time is so good versus turrets. And Max Strobo is terrifying at this point in the game.
Oh yeah, they've completely come online. You know, Max Strobo doing a great job coming in. So the fact that Piglet, we were saying, it felt like a lot of the burden to carry was going to fall onto him, and he's done just that. That first fight that they won, his Muramana transformed right then, and that was the perfect timing to take that fight. He was untouched during it, and since then has continued to perform in these team fights. Vulcan as well, going in that first team fight and getting that last little knock-up to get them those extra kills, and has continued to perform well in these fights. The bot lane definitely stepping up big here, as well as Sun stabilizing after a little bit of a rough early game.
Well, it's kind of all going well right now for Clutch. Max Strobo going to dispatch this bottom outer turret. That's easy pickings here right now for the Aatrox.
No minion wave, doesn't need it.
Nope. Slapping the turret, takes it down. Piecake Lord again, he's doing what he needs to do on the Jackson, just trying to take down the side lanes. He's got 2 items as well, but it's going to be tough for TSM to find any good fight. It's going to require Mike Young to find quite the engage.
It's going to be tough when they're all grouped up as well. They're ahead, they have defensive tools like the Lulu and the Rakan to protect people. Moon will continue to run forward and be extra tanky, being able to ult that Sejuani, that soft counter that's always been in the game.
Yep, powering up Piglet as well with the Ziggs convergence finish. Again, TSM starting another fight for the wild growth in on. Does get the kill on the Piglet. That's the kill they needed, but Max Strobo might be able to get the rest of them. No, he dies with no passive to speak of. And Piecake Lord actually grabbed the double. Maybe even vying for a Penta. Sun going to be the next target. Stunned up, good pillar, not enough. Piecake Lord finds a triple.
Really nice pick off there by TSM Academy. Finally, Mike Young snipes out Piglet, and we saw all those defensive tools try to come in, but they just weren't quite enough. Piglet gets dropped, and then it felt like it was still a possibly winnable fight for Clutch Gaming, but Max Strobo died way before he got his passive up. So no revive available to him. He just dies instantly. And on the side of TSM Academy, they do have a lot of CC if they're able to land it all. You have Sejuani, Aurelia, Braum, Jax. There's tons of ways to lock people down if you're able to look from one target to the next.
Double Rage Blade, real nice there for TSM. Items right on time for that fight. TSM also get the Mountain Drake out of the deal. That's really going to put a stop to all this Baron pressure. In fact, Piecake Lord just got a turret with Moon standing in his way. And he's going to get out scot-free as well.
It's a bit of a feels bad, man. We'll take another look at this fight as Piglet gets caught out in transition. Channeling his ultimate, basically standing still to telegraph to the enemy team to jump on him. And there we see all this stuff come in, but not enough. And then right when he flashes in, Max Strobo gets stunned, and so he can't actually activate the abilities to get his passive up. And so he flashes in, stunned in front of the enemy team. They were starting to get low, and it looked like he might have been able to take that fight over with the Titanic Hydra AoE, but not the case. Once he drops, you know, there's really not that many threats left available. You're a Trundle, Rakan, and Lulu. That's not the most threatening triple combo.
Yeah, especially with no Lulu, ulti, Piglet. I mean, credit to Mike Young for reacting to that as quickly as he did.
Yes.
But that was a big no-no from Piglet as they're still sieging here. Baron is dropped off, but they're going to still try and take down a turret.
And I like to see this aggression. Yes, you lost that fight, but you were so far ahead before then. You're still far ahead. Continue to keep the tempo up and don't second guess yourself. Just forget that little mistake and keep on pushing.
Well, push cake Lord's still going.
Push cake.
We're gonna try and take him here on the
great.
front side.
Oh, the interrupt
snipe. Really, really key snipe, actually.
We've seen some back doors in the Academy before. Might be on track for another one.
Yeah, we did see quite a few yesterday, like Younglo getting aggressed on. Clutch is just trying to answer, but Pyke already took the turret. He's not stopping.
He's got his Ginsu.
Oh, no. Stop now. Max Trovo's here. All right, he's out of there.
I don't know. At the same time, Clutch Gaming's trying to pressure down as well.
Yeah, now you have to force the fight. Trovo with the TP as well. One Nexus turret dead, but I think that's all it's going to be right now. And we talked about these top laners, two brutally strong dueling split pushes. Recall not cancelled.
I kind of wanted to see them fight that out. We've been talking about who's going to win late game. Both them 2.5 items, basically. Let's go, dude. I want to see that fight.
I feel like the consensus is that Aatrox wins all, but I mean, I feel like Fiora and Jax are, you know, at least in the lore, very good duelists. So kind of with you. I wanted to see a little bit more.
Jax never lost in his original lore.
That's true.
Back when there was the Summoners Institute or whatever, or Institute of War.
Yeah, I don't know. Now he's lost twice.
He's not even, he would beat everyone with the lamp. Imagine if he used a real weapon.
Well.
He got ganked.
Not today.
One me, bro.
That's true. Always the jungler. There's never a jungler in my earlier duel.
Yeah, he got dove top 2v1. He still found a kill.
I mean, he's doing really well.
Yeah, as much as we're memeing about it, you know, Pyke Lord is actually one of the biggest factors in stabilizing this game for them.
I mean, took the inhib, again, continuing to apply pressure. I mean, Jax is just so efficient when he gets alone time, and now he's got a third item, Titanic, done. Morales gets the blue buff as TSM Academy, playing much further forward than you might expect. I guess mid inhib is a little easier to push out than bot side, but TSM still playing proactively despite being in a deficit.
You know, I still feel like, you know, without seeing the 1v1, it does feel like I would expect Jax to be able to win it. And so if you have the bot lane in your favor, like you said, the mid lane is actually easier to clear because that's where everyone wants to stand around anyways. And then if the Jax goes up on the top side, who's answering him? Is it the Aatrox? He's down with the super minions. So the bot inhibitor not being a terrible trade. You lost a Nexus turret, which is a little extra gold, but in terms of map presence, there's basically no difference.
I wonder why Rollis is here in the bot lane, by the way. Like it World's actually pushing this wave out.
They're trying to go for a backdoor play where he wants to bait the 1v1 under a Nexus turret, and then out of nowhere, Kai'Sa comes ulting in. Could work out. I don't hate the idea, but if it goes wrong, your Kai'Sa is in no position to defend your inhibs, or your Nexus, excuse me.
And both of them are going to go back, so Rollis trying to shadow Pyke Lord. Ooh. One cancelled. Pyke Lord's like, I'm sticking around here.
Yeah, not great ward coverage on the side of TSM Academy. There's none in the bot side and only a couple in the top side, so it's very scary for the 3-man core to push out because they're down men, but they need to get better vision control for any plays to work.
Both have TP as well, but as you said, you can't see here. It's a little scary, although we'll see most of Clutch once they push the minion wave in. And Baron is back up and available. Could be using your Kai'Sa to take it. Instead, they're still trying to play here in the bot lane. Pyke Lord trying to get out. Oh, we're going to get turned up already. Rollis finally kind of unleashes his trap card, but not a whole lot of effectiveness there.
Piglet just showing off his accuracy.
Gets a hit, but Jack's pretty tanky with the ult ticking away. So it looks like TSM will abandon that play. That does kind of mean that anytime that TSM could have used pressuring other sides of the map is kind of all worn off. And inhibs are going to respawn in just a couple minutes. Baron, like I said, is still up and available. And with Mountain Drake next coming in 50 seconds, team's going to have to reset and kind of retake their position.
I like the idea. Didn't work, but I don't hate going for it. Shadowing split pushers is always a great way to kind of get an advantage, and especially, like you said, with that double TP that they both have, you can always go for that play, and if they try and force Baron on you, you can still TP and collapse, or you just delay and end the game. But Clutch Gaming was actually the one to pull the trigger first. Vulcan getting in range.
Rala is also close to death cap, so
maybe waiting on a power spike isn't the worst idea.
No, only going to get better as the game goes on. Olive also close to Guardian Angel, but doesn't have it just yet. An Ardent Sensor done for Sun. I like what's going on here. I don't know if he's ever going to be with the Aatrox to help him out, but Piglet will take it either way. And look, he's just been knighted by Moon as well, so Piglet's ready to fight. Ooh, Flash Pillar, that's
an engage.
Didn't work too well though. Did get a flash out of Rala, so not the worst. I guess if that's the trade you want to make as Clutch, it's actually a pretty good trade.
Yeah, it's not that bad. It really sets up Vulcan to actually follow up. So as much as that was a little sarcastic for me, upon further review, good play, Moon.
All right, stand up again, but again, shrugging it off. No treads helping out a whole host, and Clutch do retake that in here. Piecake Lord, though, also back to visit the scene of his last crime. And Clutch is just pushing in. Vulcan, quickly already popped the quickness. Piecake Lord, oh, wants to kill the Aatrox instead. It actually might be game if he kills him.
No, the inhib respawned.
Yep, oh, that's true. He's going to take that instead. Gets it, now going to go for the inhib. Trying to get it all. Clutch still going for the other side. This is going to be complicated to follow. There's the Vanguard's edge. TSM trying to fight it out as Piecake Lord does get it, but he can't quite get the kill. There's a kill for Piglet, taking out Mike Young. TP's in. Oh no, Aatrox coming through. Blaze Olive a little too low. Clutch still collapsing, but Sun is low. Piglet though, able to get the kills on the other side, and TSM, they pick their gambit.
What is happening?
Not get it. Olive get the double kill, but still the next exposed. Olive is trying to fight it out, but I think, yeah, he finally died. And Clutch, they grab the Nexus.
That was a bit of an insane base race that they chickened out on the side of TSM Academy. They both TP back in, and then the Aatrox just goes for the back door, while Piglet, with the help of Lulu, was able to kite out the front line very effectively. And while they did eventually kill him, everyone else died as well.
Yeah, you can only practice that one so many times, I feel like.
Yeah.
I mean...
Load it up, the one where we both mirror split push base race.
I think the idea was good on both sides. Execution was real wacky, so tough to say what the right call was in that spot, but a fun way to end Academy in this week. Clutch, they do come away with a victory, and they are undefeated on the week. Not something we were expecting from the 0-4 team starting this one off.
No, huge bounce back week from them. Piglet had a great game again here. Very aggressive, always looking for more kills, and this time not really getting punished for it, which was something that sometimes is his undoing, is when he has that lead and he's trying to shift forward and then gets picked off without his mobility available. This time, always following up behind Moon, following up behind Vulcan first, and with the extra protection of Sun, they did a great job actually supporting him. And then, very importantly, Piecake Lord, Pushcake Lord, as you called him, despite how much he got on the map, it's still just not as effective as a sieging four-man group with real range champions, because he's trying to 1v1 the Aatrox, which is difficult to do anyways, and then with a turret pelting you down, there's just no chance. Whereas on the other side, Moon can run forward and just act like an idiot while they're able to hit the turret down. And so you could see that that was not really going to work out for TSM the longer it went on. And, you know, they at that point were already too committed to really recover their decision.
Yeah, I think continued praise for Vulcan, who's showing up. I mean, his recon looked extremely good. Found a lot of good angles on engage, was able to keep himself safe. I thought he was dead in most of the fights that happened. I don't even remember how many times he died. So
yeah, he lived a lot of times with like 200 HP or something like that, and would be Wing forward again to find one more knock up.
Every recon, by the way, he wasn't the Guardian or Aftershock, so playing even more aggressively perhaps. But hey, it worked out for him certainly, as Clutch looking good with Max Trobo back in the lineup. Always nice to see, I think. That's maybe the other thing for me that I like is Max Trobo had a decent game, like nothing flashy, but he kind of did his job and did it pretty well. On a champion, to be fair, that's pretty popular and pretty strong right now, but I think after your LCS top laner comes in, smashes 2 games, and you're moved back to the roster, it's kind of like it feels bad. It's like, hey, buddy, hope you do okay.
Yeah.
You did really well.
It's a high-pressure situation, and it was a skill matchup, so, you know, getting tested right away, and he did pretty well in it. Was up a little bit of CS. They tried to gank him. They did play through the top side in the early portion of the game because bot lane was mostly even and your mid laner was dying, so he was a little bit of the bridge to get the team into the mid and late game, and then once they got that first mid-game fight, it was kind of all downhill from there, or uphill.
Again, TSM, with how they started, this is the replay you were mentioning, Mark. 20 minutes in, Clutch finds such a good team fight.
Yeah, either way, Mike Young didn't start this with his ultimate, and Moon, not everyone is committing to finishing him off. Only Piecake Lord does, so he ends up a little bit too far forward. And now they're on full retreat mode as Max Trobo has collapsed in from the bot side, and he's going to kind of be the one to tank up this turret after Vulcan gets the setup. He's going to get a ton of damage down, and with Sun flashing in, they find that kill, and there's that lifesteal tank of Aatrox just sitting under that turret. And that was the big explosion. They had one fight before then to kind of get the gold lead a little in their favor, and then that fight right there is that massive spike that you see. Continue to do all right with them, minus that one fight where, you know, Piglet got caught out at the start for ulting a little too close to Mike Young.
Yep.
Got punished accordingly, but, you know, Clutch did a good job reacting after that.
Yeah, and again, Piglet, look at the damage numbers there, like almost 30k. That was a game that I think Clutch fans want to see much more of.
Oh, yeah.
That's the game you expect from Piglet, like aggressive, but more when appropriate rather than all the time.
Yeah, I mean, Piglet's the kind of guy who's former world champion. Even during his time, North American LCS was always a very aggressive player, and more often than not, things worked out for him. But it's been a slow decline as you kind of see him not being able to execute on plays that we're used to seeing as fans.
All right, we've got 15 games in the books for this week, so let's take a look at how the standings shifted with the conclusion of the first Academy Super Week. Cloud9 Academy reigns supreme at the top with a 6-1 record, but COG Academy, Optic, and TLA are hot on their heels, all tied in second place. And with their win today, Clutch Gaming will move up to the 100 Thieves Academy in 6th. With Route 3 now in the rearview mirror, though, we can look ahead to the weekend and the return of the NALCS. We kick off the weekend with C9 versus TSM, while Team Liquid takes on EchoFox, and Optic Gaming will take on CLG to close out the day.
Is that quite the right picture, or should that be Golden Glue? Both likely to be playing, right? And it would seem, Golden Glue was the mid laner. Is he the one getting in the bot lane? He was doing real good. Should that be Golden Glue in that picture?
I mean, I don't know. It depends. Like, who's the best Yasuo out of those two? I think it's definitely Jensen. They've both played it.
That's true.
He's been going off.
Well, who's the best Zoe? Golden Glue got a solo kill.
Ooh.
Who's going to get what?
You know what? I can't wait to answer some of these questions.
Yeah, it's going to be so fun.
As we approach Rift Rivals next week, though, be sure to catch up on the European LCS. Coming right up is a rebroadcast of this morning matches ahead of their live day 2 broadcast, which starts with the pregame lobby tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. Pacific, 4:30 p.m. Central European. And speaking of Rift Rivals, with Europe deciding on the NALCS studio next week, Academy will be on hiatus for a week and will return on July 12th and 13th. Now, for myself, Mark, and the entire Academy crew, happy birthday, Mark. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in 2 weeks for more of the North American Academy League. Good night. Oh, great poly there, but Mike Young going to flash forward for the Q. Now the sun's going to land in, and that's an easy first blood. Looking for it. Moon just presses the ult button. The dodge is coming up. High kick goes. Looking for a 2v1 outplay. Flashes orders. He's able to get it. He is going to dive slow. He is not going to quite hit, but Vulcan again finds Shady with a mass knockup. There's Rollo. He's going to get dove on as Olive is going to try and get back in and get it. Sun Flash E does get it. Olive dead as well under the target. Again, TSM starting another fight with the Wild Growth in on. Does get the kill on the Piglet. That's the kill they needed, but Max Trover might be able to get the rest of them. No, he dies. Piglet, though, able to get the kills on the other side, and TSM, they pick their gambit.
What is happening?
Get it. Olive get the double kill, and Clutch, they grab the Nexus.